that that's an important part of our development is that
Absolutely.
because it requires courage to really honestly look. It's easy to look outside of yourself, but to look within is what you're saying, the inner and the outer. And that's what the Tai Chi eventually brought me, as you were saying. It helped me understand the relationship between the inner and the outer, the
Hmm.
relationship of the yin and the yang, of flow and balance. And I actually had a moment based on what you're saying. I remember walking through the streets of Manhattan, still a young man, and actually for the first time I thought, hmm, how many negative thoughts do I have in a day?
Oh,
And I
wow.
started tracking out of nowhere. I just thought this. No one in my world ever would ask this question. And I started tracking and I said, wow, about 90% of my thoughts were negative.
Hmm. One
And
of
then
the
I,
things that it's, 70,000 thoughts a day, 90% of them. How many thoughts are self-deprecating? And just
yeah,
being aware of those gives you the opportunity to change them.
yeah, yes. So that gave me the opportunity to change them, and which I slowly did, which slowly I think I could say, and I never really connected it, but that was an important impetus that got me to say at a certain point, I'm going to bum around Europe for a year,
Hmm.
and decided to follow that joke and ended up in Amsterdam and stayed for 18 years. And I've been here now on and off for
Just a
almost
short
40
stay, right?
years, just a
I'm
short
going to go
stay.
spend a month and hang out, and wow, this is so much fun. I think I'm going to stay here for a while.
Yeah. And I've kind of lived my life in that way is listening to what openings are there, listening to the rhythms, and with a deep sense within myself of that I think I've always had of where can I be of service?
Sure. Now, let's get it into the practical sense because we talk about this, we understand the energy, we understand the flow, we understand the sensitivity. It's the practicality of the definition of the activity that brings that. What did you notice in your jaunt through Europe, let's say, of how you were paying attention, observing the synchronicities, the serendipitous moments, the connections, and how that flow took place? Because I think this is something that we all could use in
Yeah.
order to be able to recognize the breadcrumbs that we need to follow to have a fulfilling life.